This open bike that I had built is a KTM 990 built into a Husqvarna.
Goon climbers!
Dylan Hoops, grew up here in Mountain View, Wyoming. Started riding in 2006. Started doing motocross and arena cross. I rode all the way up until 2019, 2020 doing that. Decided to dip my feet into hill climbing. Always kind of rode here at the Badlands and goofed around doing that, but decided to go and do the pro side of hill climbing. Just started out on 450, slowly started building bikes and getting more bikes for different classes. I went to a KX 500 and then bought an open bike. I bought a CBR 1000, just kind of a private sale, and decided I wanted to go bigger and better. So I reached out to one of the bike builders here in the United States, Kevin Merrick, Heavy Wrenching, and just kind of gave him an idea of what I wanted and my riding style and what would fit me the most, and just started building from there. My best finishes so far in Rockwell and American Hill Climb, so I got a 10th in Rockwell at X12. I finished in the top 15 in both Rockwell and in American Hill Climb West. Shooting to go for top 10 this year in Rockwell, and next year going to try and go for the national championships in Washington at the Nitro Nationals up there. But just kind of dipping my feet in all the different stuff with this and enjoying all of it. It's definitely been an eye-opener at how hard some of the hill climbing can be, and just getting 2 chances at the hill with no practice is the biggest thing. Is you don't know if your setup's right or not. But I had some really good help along the way from graphic companies, motors, sprocket, suspension. M9's been my suspension sponsor for the whole time. They really have hooked me up big time on all 3 of my bikes. Hoosier's been with me for 4 years, and now with Pro Graphics, just jumped in with them, and they've been a huge help. This open bike that I had built is a KTM 990 built into a Husqvarna off of Kevin Merrick's custom frame. Heavy Wrenching did all the work for it. Dan Matsunaga and Tyler Cardwell did the wiring harness and the tuning on it. M9 Suspension did the suspension. We've got Ride Engineering, triple clamps and lower linkages, full suspension parts on that. So we got W rims on it, 3.5 rear, and I've got a 3.5 paddle tire built from Scat Track. It's a 16 paddle Viper offset. Kevin did all the custom stuff. He built the fuel tanks and everything. It's absolutely a work of art. So I chose the 990 due to, I rode 1,000, I rode Bronson Foynini's 890, and decided that the 990 is kind of more my fit, being a narrow bike. It's still got plenty of power to be competitive, and it's not so insane that you don't know what you're getting into every time you crack the throttle. It's still going to be an insanely fast bike, but it's going to be very manageable. The 990 is a 2012. The reason I went with the older style is for still the throttle bodies and the throttle cables instead of the electronic throttles. This winter, if it turns out that I need more horsepower, I'm going to take it to the Lloyds and have whatever magic they can pull out of it and get a little bit more power out of it. But as of right now, it's staying basically stock as it is. So if you're looking into getting an open bike, there's multiple for sale on Facebook on Hill Climbers Only, or you'll see them at the races. And that's somebody's dream that they built, and they're just either moving on or they have a different idea or whatever. But if you wanted to build a bike, I'd recommend Heavy Wrenching. He worked so good about this build. Like, he gives you updates all the way along, any concerns. I went a little bit of a different route. There's 2 options to him to build an open bike. You can either have him buy everything, do everything, and then it's a flat rate depending on materials and whatnot and what you're building, and he'll just do everything for you. Or like I did, I bought the majority of the parts that we needed and sent them out to him. And one of the big things that helped me with that, besides sponsors, is Black Friday sales through Motorsport. That was probably my biggest savings on this whole build. There's a lot of little parts that you'd never think of when you're building a bike. The other route, if you're mechanically inclined and a good welder, get a motor yourself and get a chassis and throw it together like Bronson did. He did a phenomenal job, and he's really good at all of that. But yeah, I'd recommend going through heavy wrenching if he did a dang good build. So another thing along lines, and it's actually been a fun part of the whole build too. So buy quality equipment. Make sure that you get good materials. Like I said, the Ride Engineering suspension parts. I've got the flow foot pegs. I've got the everything you could ever dream of. That was the funnest part, is I got to pick out and buy every single part that I've ever wanted on any bike, a motocross bike, a hill climb bike, the rims, the certain tires. I got to pick absolutely everything. Jason Smith put a chain guide on this. Like, it's got everything you could ever dream of on a bike, and that's probably one of the funner things that I got to experience, is being able to pick out everything. And I'll admit, it's not cheap. Be ready to spend some coin, but you will get an absolute masterpiece at the end of it like this. Like, it's everything I've ever dreamed of in a bike.